Apple just dropped one of the biggest earnings reports we've seen in a long time, and we are going to break it all down for you. We're talking record-breaking numbers, some hidden warnings you need to know about, and a massive bet on the future that could change absolutely everything. So let's get right into it.
Okay, just look at this number, $143.8 billion. And to be clear, that's not how much the company is worth. That's how much money they made in a single quarter. It's an almost insane amount of money, and yeah, it completely shattered all expectations.
And look, this wasn't just another, good quarter. The CEO himself, Tim Cook, came right out and said it. He called it a quarter for the record books. When a CEO is that direct, it means the numbers are truly something special.
So the big question is, how does any company, even Apple, pull off a quarter like this? Let's dig into what exactly made these numbers so historic.
Here's the key thing to understand. It wasn't just that they did better than Wall Street thought they would. No, they set brand new all-time records for their own company. That $143.8 billion in revenue, that's up 16% from just a year ago. And their earnings per share hit an all-time high too. By their own standards, this was, without a doubt, the single best financial quarter in Apple's entire history, period.
Right, so a number that huge doesn't just come from one thing. It was basically powered by these two massive engines inside the company just firing on all cylinders. The iPhone, of course, and their services division, which is just exploding right now.
And again, Tim Cook didn't pull any punches here. He said the demand for the new iPhone 17 was simply staggering. It wasn't just good, it was a genuine phenomenon, growing an incredible 23% in just 1 year. This chart just lays it out perfectly. I mean, look at that. The iPhone alone brought in $85.3 billion. That is more than every other Apple product combined. But you've really got to pay attention to that second bar. At $30 billion, Apple's services division is now a tech giant all on its own. So what's fueling all that services growth? Well, this number right here is the secret. Apple just announced that it now has over 2.5 billion active devices out in the world. Just think about that for a second. That's a massive built-in audience just waiting to subscribe to Apple Music, pay with Apple Pay, buy apps, or watch Apple TV. It's an incredible foundation.
So far, it sounds like a perfect story, right? Record numbers, everything's going great. But that's not the whole picture. If you were listening closely to what the executives were saying on their call, they also raised some pretty serious red flags. To really understand where Apple is at, you got to look at the challenges too.
And this really captures the tension at the heart of the whole report. It's like two sides of a coin. On one hand, you have these historic, unbelievable wins. But on the other, management is warning about some serious headwinds coming. Problems getting parts, rising costs, and even sales for Macs and wearables slowing down.
Let's be more specific here. First, that staggering iPhone demand, well, it has a downside. Apple is actually struggling to make enough of them because they can't get enough of the advanced chips they need. Second, memory prices are going up everywhere, and that directly eats into their profits. And finally, while the iPhone was soaring, Mac revenue actually fell 7%. And wearables, think Apple Watch, AirPods, they fell 2%. So you're definitely seeing some softness in their other hardware businesses.
So you've got this mixed picture, record wins, but also these looming challenges. And then, right in the middle of all of it, Apple made what might be its biggest strategic announcement in years, a huge pivot that's all about how they plan to compete in the new world of artificial intelligence. For months, really for the last year, the question on everyone's mind has been, so what's Apple's AI strategy? I mean, we've seen all their competitors launch chatbots and all sorts of AI features, and Apple's been, well, pretty quiet. This quarter, though, we finally got our answer. And the answer was a real shocker, mostly for one reason. Apple is partnering up with its biggest rival, Google. Just think about that. This is iOS versus Android, Safari versus Chrome. This is a huge deal. They're going to work together to develop what Apple is calling next-generation Apple Foundation models, which is just a fancy way of saying the core AI brains that will power all their new stuff. And the big goal here, to finally create a Siri that's actually smart and personal, and a whole suite of new tools they're calling Apple Intelligence. But Apple was very, very clear that it's going to do AI the Apple way. They kept hammering on these three principles. Their AI will be deeply personal to you. It's going to be private, with a lot of the work happening on your device, not in the cloud, and it will be seamlessly integrated across your entire operating system. This is their whole pitch for why their AI is going to be different and better.
Okay, so let's put it all together now. A record-smashing quarter, some pretty serious warnings about the future, and a massive new bet on AI. So what's the big picture takeaway from all this?
It really boils down to this. The good, the iPhone is an absolute monster, driving them to their best quarter ever. The bad, there are some real storm clouds gathering with supply chains and rising costs. And the big bet for the future? That a shocking partnership with a rival is the key to finally delivering a truly smart AI from Siri all the way to this new Apple Intelligence.
Which leaves us with this final crucial question. Apple just delivered a historic quarter, but the road ahead is clearly not going to be simple. They've placed a massive bet that a smarter, AI-powered world is the future. So, is this partnership with Google and the promise of a truly intelligent Siri the key that's going to unlock Apple's next $1 trillion in value? Well, I guess that's what we'll all be watching.